Hello there, Kim Coles here, and I'm so excited to have you meet, have me talk, have us experience the one and only Seneca Williams, who is one of the co-authors of Wisdom Gifts 2, G.I.F.T.S, Gratitude, Intention, Forgiveness, Triumphs, and Self-Love. And I'm so grateful to have Seneca with me right now. Hey there, Seneca.
Hello. Hey, Kim. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you partner with you in this book. You are so smart and you have such great perspective to share. And so I'll let everyone know that you're a licensed therapist. And do you want to talk about your journey to become a therapist?
I can. I will give the abbreviated version of becoming a therapist because it's a long journey of career development. But becoming a therapist was much of a calling for me.
Mm.
Sometimes people are looking for a career and they're trying to like do what the right thing is. And sometimes it's just about leaning into what comes to you naturally. And naturally, I've been a great listener. People come to me to talk. I experience strangers talking to me about their whole life story sometimes, or in past jobs, I'd have my supervisors talking to me as a confidant. So it was something very natural. And I decided to like lean into this calling in 2008. So I thought I was going to be an attorney. But when I really like listened and tapped into what God was telling me to do and what he was calling me to do, here I am, a therapist.
That's powerful wisdom right there. Powerful. Just
Mhm.
lean into your gifts, right?
Yes.
So one of the things I admire about you is that not only have you leaned into this, you lean into a really wonderful area of speciality, if that's the right way to say it, and that is not only the mental health piece, but mental health as it relates to imposter syndrome and breaking through anxiety. So can we talk about how you discovered that that was the area that you really wanted to hone in order to help others?
The keyword is discovered. I actually never like knew where I was going to specialize when I was going to school to become a therapist. Had no idea this would be the specialty. However, on my own journey and path, like I said, of career development, it was kind of like a loop de loop. It wasn't a straight line.
Mm.
So I knew that if I'm going through this and I'm experiencing imposter syndrome, I'm experiencing anxiety, I'm experiencing depression, I know a lot of other people are too. And when I did become a therapist, I saw it coming up over and over and over again. Even right now, working with clients, they're trying to figure out, what should I specialize in? How do I pivot? What's my niche? They're very confused about it, and it's making them feel like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm a fraud. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. They're worrying about making a mistake about their career. They're worrying about what will people think about me if I change careers. That's a big one. Like, because you told everybody you were going to do one thing and now you're changing and doing something else. So I was like, I'm not alone in this. There are so many people that need help in this. And I found that's where I kind of shine. Like,
Mm.
I don't know if, anyone is listening to this, but there's something that you do that it just comes effortlessly and you just shine in it and it feels good. And when you walk away, you're like, I did that. Yay. I feel good about it. And, that's what happened for me. I was like, yeah, I love helping people with their careers and their business.
Right. So not only did you have the specialty of imposter syndrome, which I'm going to come back and ask you a question about, but really honed in specifically for business owners and entrepreneurs. But let me go back for just a moment. You mentioned some of the what I would say the symptoms of feeling imposter syndrome. And I know because I can raise my hand and go, I feel that, I know that, I understand that. But let's talk about what imposter syndrome is and how someone can identify that they may indeed have it, and maybe we could even talk about ways to, I think awareness is the first step. And
Yeah,
then
awareness.
if they want help in healing or exploring it further. But what is imposter syndrome?
I'm going to tell the definition of imposter syndrome from the experience of it.
Okay. Hmm.
So, whoever's listening to this, there's something that you may achieve in life. Maybe at work, you got that promotion, or in business, you're launching the business, and people have their eyes on you now. And there's this little feeling of, oh my gosh, can I really do this? Are people going to find out I'm a fraud? And the thing is, you're not a fraud. You have the degrees, maybe, or you have experience, or you have talents. So you're not a fraud, but you just feel that way. You feel like, I don't know if I'm good enough. And what if people find out I'm actually not good enough? So it's like little negative thoughts, the negative thinking, the negative chatter in the back of your mind. In therapy, we call it negative self talk that can give you an idea that maybe this is imposter syndrome. I feel like an imposter. I feel like I'm showing up this way, but this is not really me. This is not true. People are going to find out that it's not true. And the thing about it is, real imposters, people who are really out here impersonating and imposters, they don't feel imposter syndrome. They are living the lie. So
So
yeah.
what do we, so do we pretend, do we, I almost, there are times when I've said to myself, I wish I could borrow the confidence of that person who just has no clue, but they're out there doing it. So is it a confidence thing? Is it a self-esteem thing? Is it self-sabotage? What does it come from? Just not, especially if you have some success or degrees or whatever the outside pieces of it. What does it really, really come from? What's the root of it?
This is a great question because there isn't one answer.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say is, because I work specifically with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of us, when we start a business and we're coming into that business with our expertise and experience, we have a past where we were taught what to do. We had a guide, we had a map. And then when you start a business, there is no guide or map or one way to do it. And what we are struggling with is autonomy. A lot of us are doing something for the first time on our own, making the creative decisions. You hold the power to decide where this thing is going to go. I say the entrepreneur is the driver, the business is the vehicle. So you decide where this vehicle is going to go. No one is telling you. You're the one putting in the coordinates and the address and the GPS. So it can bring up a lot of imposter syndrome because now you yourself are deciding, like, what is it that I'm going to do? So that's one thing, is autonomy. I would say another thing is sometimes environment. A lot of us are told to stay on the path that we're sure of. Go to college, do this job, follow these instructions. And many entrepreneurs are outliers. We're not going on the paved road with the signs and the roadmap. We're, sometimes taking that dirt road, or some of us are chopping down trees in the forest and making a new road, depending on what it is. So, all of these things are environment. What people are doing around us, we're like, oh my God, they all have it figured out, but I don't. So something must be wrong with me. I must be doing something wrong because I don't feel sure and certain. And then the other thing that you said is confidence. When we're not in community, and I love how you have the community, but when we're not in community, we don't have people like cheering us on. We don't have the validation or the feedback. So those are three things that are at the core of that imposter syndrome.
So I'm going to be a little selfish and say that this is one of the reasons why I was so glad that that you said yes to participating in this book, because I got to learn from you uh, those very specific things to look for. And I hadn't thought before about this entrepreneurial journey can have those roadblocks or those challenges that we have to deal with. And you're right. When you have a job, somebody tells you where to go, what time to come in, what to do. And that's not the case at all. So I love that you said yes to write a chapter here. And I love that you said yes to doing this work, because so many people will have relief even just hearing, okay, so it's not me. It's, all these other factors that I now get to look at and in a new way. And then you offer solutions to break through. So just thank you for saying yes to yourself and yes to this and yes to understanding that you have this experience and you wanted to help people get through it.
Well, I want to say thank you for having me. And what's kind of funny, right? When I said yes, instantly, that imposter was like, "Are you sure you're gonna write a book? You're gonna write in a book with Kim Coles? Like, are you sure about that? Like, who are you to be writing a book?"
Wow.
So I just wanted to say that because even though I've dealt with it and I've worked through it, it's like a backseat passenger. It's not in the driver's seat, but it's a backseat passenger right now. So every now and then it's like, hey, are you sure? Are they going to find out that you're really not that good? Is she going to find out?
Well, okay, so it's so I have my backseat passenger too. So that's helpful. Thank you for that, that vulnerability. Thank you for that honesty. And what's great about that, Seneca, is now everyone who's listening to this understands that it's there and understands that it has to be looked at and dealt with on a regular basis. That even you, in saying yes to this, like here she comes again, right? Do you name your imposter? I don't have a name for mine yet.
you
I
know, I sometimes I have a name for my imposter. I won't say it
don't, okay,
because
let's let her sit there in the back.
let's let her sit there in the back. Sometimes I do call her names.
So I'm going to call mine Kid Imposter. I've decided that there.
Okay.
So, what is something that we can do or say, or something that we can have in our environment that will instantly, is there something that can instantly snap us out of this so that we can keep moving forward? Because I truly believe that entrepreneurs help the world go round, and we need us, being outliers and being in our best version of ourselves as often as possible. So, what can we do? Is there something we can do to snap out of it?
The quickest thing I can say to do, right, in a moment is kind of reading your receipts. A
Mm,
lot of entrepreneurs are high achievers, and we have this thing where we have an achievement and we just go, okay, what's next? What am I going to tackle next? What's the next? They're just going, 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 and they don't actually sit and, like, look back on, like, oh, I did that.
mm,
And I worked really hard for it. It wasn't easy. I think some of us forget how hard we work to get the things that we have. We just move on, like, okay, I did that. It's done. So the quickest thing is, like, just like pull out some of your receipts. Like, what have you done in the past month?
mm,
What have you done in the past year? There is something that you've done. And it's also not just looking at the big things, but the small things too.
mm.
Sometimes there are small achievements that we look over and we don't even acknowledge them. So I say, like, check your receipts, and then, like how we check the receipts to see what we spent or whatever. Check your receipts to see what you actually accomplished, and it's there.
It's there. That's so helpful. Thank you for that. I agree with you that we move on to the next, and I think that's a great way to sort of ground yourself and check yourself. Check your receipts. All right, very good. Um, let's talk about, so you've got your clients, and then you've created coaching and you've created programs to really dial in and help people. So yes, you help people one on one, but you also help people in a community as well. And I love that you've created that experience too, because you say imposters need people with imposter syndrome, or people who identify that way need community as well. So how have you created your programs to be able to serve people in that way? Or what have you
Okay.
put in programs to help folks?
Well, I want to highlight for people that I am a therapist and a coach, as you said. And as a coach, I'm not treating any mental health diagnosis. Imposter syndrome is considered a syndrome, but it is not a mental health diagnosis. And then
Mhm.
also business anxiety, it is not a mental health diagnosis. So I don't want anyone going to their therapist and saying, "Oh, I saw this interview. She said I have business anxiety." Business anxiety is something that I recognize in a lot of entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
So I created coaching programs where we focus on the business anxiety cycle, where they may be going into a lot of avoidance of taking action on things. That happens a lot. They're going to courses, they're doing the next coaching program or mastermind, but they're not implementing. There's a lot of avoidance behavior, or what they think they're taking action in is like, in the stages of change, they're always getting ready. They're getting ready. So we tackle that, like, okay, let's go from getting ready and getting information to implementing. So that business anxiety cycle of, okay, I'm thinking about the thing, I'm excited, I'm getting ready for it, I'm excited. Uh-oh, I'm avoiding it because I'm scared of it. It's making me anxious. I need to get ready some more and
Right.
talk about it. So like we just keep like looping and looping until you implement and take action. So we do that in the course, the business anxiety breakthrough course. We talk about sales anxiety,
Ah,
and not traditional sales anxiety of what to say to the customer or how to convince them to buy. We're talking about your own stuff, your fear of selling, your fear of feeling sleazy, your fear of asking for money, your fear of talking about money in the sales conversation. We tackle the sales anxiety. We go through social media anxiety. That's a big one.
huge.
Huge one, right? People have to go out there and promote themselves and promote their business, and they have to do interviews like this. So I'm coaching them through how to show up for your audience, for your clients, so they can find you, so they can see how amazing you are, so that they'll want to work with you. So we go through social media anxiety. We also talk about networking anxiety, because the truth is none of us are like a McDonald's or like a Burger King or something. We don't just like open the business and people show up. So we have to get out there and network and talk to people. And I myself am an introvert. I'm an ambivert now, but I lean more towards introvert. So like being front stage and speaking to new people is not natural to me. I rather just chill out, one on one, sit in the back. So people don't believe that, but I had to like work on building myself to be able to do this stuff. So I know what it feels like. So we go through the networking anxiety, and we talk about the anxiety of burning out. When you are afraid of success, there's this fear that what happens when I am successful and all the business starts rushing in? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, am I going to be able to handle that?
Right.
So all that stuff.
I love it. Sounds so comprehensive. Like you've covered it all. So it's the I'm just going to keep taking courses because I'm not ready yet. It's the getting in action. It's asking for the sale. It's showing up in visibility and the networking piece. I just think you've done a great job of covering it all. And how would someone know, other than those markers right there, that they're having anxiety? Do they just think, well, I need more of this. I gotta wait. What would you say to someone who's in any of those stages? What's maybe one piece of wisdom that you would share um, right now to say you can do this?
Okay. I think there's this idea that we have to be 100% ready. We have to know everything that's going to happen and have all the things in place before we start. You're never going to be 100% ready. It's okay to be 70% ready and learn as you go, because things are always popping up that you weren't prepared for and you couldn't have been prepared for. There are all kinds of nuances and changes that are going to happen throughout your business journey that no one could have told you, right? So you're never going to be 100% ready. So one of the things that comes up a lot is, I'm worried I'm going to make a mistake. You're constantly thinking, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to do the right thing. Am I ready enough? Do I look right enough? Do I sound like this other person? Do I look like this other person? My business is just starting out. It doesn't look like their business. So there's a lot of chatter that goes on in the mind. Then sometimes there's like some physical stuff that's happening, right? When it's time to work on your business, all of a sudden you got a headache, your stomach hurts, you're so sleepy, you're so tired, you don't know what's going on, but all of a sudden your body is like, uh-oh, we don't want to do anything with the business. But I bet if somebody says, let's go to the movies or happy hour, you're like, oh, okay, I'm there, I'm going. All of a sudden you're fine. So sometimes your body is telling you you're anxious. And then there's the behavioral stuff. The behavioral stuff is a good indicator. If you've been in business for a year and you just keep remaking your business card, you keep updating your website, you keep making new flyers, you keep, doing all this stuff, you're not actually promoting what you sell. No one actually knows that you have these services. So like that's the income based actions that you could take. You're not actually doing that part, but you're doing this other part. So you're like doing busy work, but you're not actually doing things to bring in business. That's a good indicator right there.
What's great about this, Seneca, is it really sounds as if this is not judgment,
It's
by the
not.
way.
It's
As
not.
people to this is not any judgment. It's just really good to look at and to ask yourself if you're ready to make a change. If you're ready to make even a little bit of a change, then obviously Seneca Williams is the right person for you to work with. I love that you've created these containers for people to come in and get the help that they need to move forward. This sounds to me as if it's really all about moving people forward, moving people into so that they can also have that feeling that we talked about that you got when you landed into something, when you were able to lean into something. So you got to lean in, you got to stay in, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's something that you said, Kim, not on this interview, but before. I don't know if you remember this about like the Hair Club president. It was an old commercial you were talking about. So, like, I'm not only the president, but I'm also a client. I've been there. I've been through this stuff. I experienced it. Everything that I'm talking about, like, not only did I recognize it in clients, but it was my path in the first couple of years. And I would say, like, I think I met you in 2017.
Mhm.
Before that, I had my business like registered, but I was doing all these things I'm talking about. I actually didn't promote it. People didn't know that I actually was a business. They knew that I was a therapist, but they didn't know that I had services. So I've been there, I experienced it. And what I want to tell people is you have to start scared. We think confidence and courage comes when we wait and we give it more time. It comes from doing it scared.
Well, I was about to ask you, is there one secret sauce? Is it bravery? Is it jumping off the ledge? Is it, what is the thing? And you just gave it to me. It's doing it scared.
Mhm.
Is there something else that you can tell people to give them permission or give them one little push to continue leaning in that way? Because if you say to me, do it scared, and that all these other things will come along and the path will unfold, then I'm in. Is there anything else that you could say, just that any other tip that you could give me, that doing it scared is actually the only way to do it, because we've all been there?
There's actually something that I can say, and most people have experienced this going to the amusement park and getting on a roller coaster. So I usually ask people, what do you feel when you're on that line? And they usually say, I feel terrified. I feel scared. My stomach is like rumbling. I have butterflies in my tummy. And I'm like, but you still get on the roller coaster. So what makes you get on the roller coaster? Oh, because it's exciting, because I want to feel great about it, because, at the end of it, I'm going to really enjoy it. And I'm like, it's the same concept. We have two thoughts and two feelings at the same time, mixed emotions, and you get to decide and choose where you will lean into. So you feel anxious and you feel excited. What if you were to merge them and feel excitement, right? Call it excitement, right?
And,
I'm so excited. So if you were to merge it, you're like anxious, but you know what? You don't ignore the excitement. The excitement keeps you on the line, gets your butt in the seat, and has you riding that roller coaster. And entrepreneurship is that roller coaster. So get
it's
excited.
and holding on for dear life and throwing up your hands sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Seneca, for all of this wisdom. Thank you for saying yes to the Wisdom Gifts book. I know people are going to love your chapter, and I know people are going to want to know more about you. So, how can we find you?
Absolutely. So, those of you who are interested in contacting me, there are multiple ways. One way is through my website, senecawilliams.com. You can also follow me on all social media as Ask Coach Sen, AskCoachSen, Ask Coach Sen. And also, if you're interested in coaching, courses, or you want me to come speak to your audience about any of these things, imposter syndrome, business anxiety, I'm also at theconquernetwork.com, and you can find me on social media at the Conquer Network.
Seneca, thank you so much for this great conversation. I'm going to keep standing in line at the roller coaster. I'm going to ride every once in a while. I may have to hold on to my wig, but I am here for the ride, and I know we will all be on the roller coaster together. Thank you so much for saying yes to you and leaning into this great life, this great business, and leaning into helping others the way that you do. Thank you, Coach Sid.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wisdom Gifts 2 podcast. And I want to thank Seneca Williams for an awesome conversation. And you know what? We'll see you next time.